avoid close contact with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illness such as coughing and sneezing. Consult with your doctor if any of the common signs appear. This public service announcement was brought to you by Informante Radio.
Oh, Madonna has a farm, here, ho, and on his farm he has a cow, here, ho.
Ja, oh. La 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 la.
Tate Boetie.
Ja, oh.
Moro, moro.
Yeah, we had to cut Tate Boetie short there because we need to start with the show.
Exactly.
Welcome to the morning mix.
We have to
again.
inform, educate, and entertain.
Hello.
It's our responsibility.
Hello. Good morning to you all. Morning, Kofi.
Hello.
Morning, Big Mitch.
Moro.
Big Mitch.
En
Moro.
hier kom Ruiter in swart ook in.
Yes.
Sy het haar baret op en haar masker. Goeiemôre. Tuva.
Are you in mourning?
Why?
You're wearing all black.
This is my happy color.
Black is your happy color. Okay, cool.
Nee?
Yeah.
You know what, my wife, that's her happy color also.
No, it is.
Yes.
So I'm like, I don't do black. Okay. Okay.
White is the unhappy color.
I use it.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, look at these weddings.
And then
Yeah. That's why I don't play music at weddings.
you don't
I
play
play music at the funerals and divorces because they last.
Nee?
Yes. These unhappy events. I've tried getting married twice. It never worked out.
Het julle gehoor wat sê Kofi?
Oh, hell no.
Funerals
And divorces.
and divorces.
Yeah, because they last.
They last.
Yeah. It's forever and ever.
It's
You know, if you're feeling fat, you wear black so that you also, it makes you slim.
Really?
Yeah.
Mitch, you're wearing white.
You see,
eh?
white exposes everything.
Nee? I like it's like, I've been, in cattle farming for a very long time. Well, I remember all the years, if I go and buy cattle, I never buy the black ones.
You don't like black?
So
That
you're
is racist. That is cattle
I just don't
racism.
like the color black. When it comes to stuff that I buy, I don't like a black car.
Don't like a black person.
No, hey! Hey, Ganji. Maar sê let na.
Yeah.
But black,
Not your thing.
I would probably wear black in a combination with something that brings out more the other color.
Right.
Like for instance, I'll wear black pants,
Yes.
but not
Not a black shirt.
Not a
Not
black
like this.
shirt. Nah,
Would you wear a blue denim shirt, a blue denim jean with a black shirt?
like you do now.
Look at this.
Yeah, I can go for that.
Okay.
But maybe just for one day.
Yes.
That's it, klaar.
With white tackies.
Yeah. Here's Coffee with the news.
Monte News.
Informante News.
Firm but fair.
This is Informante Live, and these are our top stories. A fire suspectedly caused by an electrical short circuit broke out on Monday in Walvis Bay's Kuisepmont neighborhood, destroying 11 homes and causing severe damage to other property. According to Irongo Police Inspector Eleni Shapumba, the fire started inside an unoccupied ghetto at House 28 in Galjoen Street. The fire destroyed a total of 11 ghettos and also caused severe damage to properties, Shapumba said. The police were called in as well as the Walvis Bay Municipal Fire Brigade, who extinguished the fire. The Elite Tutorial College says it has nothing to do with leaked exam papers involving two of its learners who appeared in the Oshakati Magistrates Court last week Friday, where they were denied bail. The learners were arrested last week Wednesday after being found in possession of and sharing on a WhatsApp group the Ordinary Level English as Second Language National Examination paper and memorandum. Oshana Regional Crime Investigations Coordinator, Deputy Commissioner Hilio Haipumba, said after the learners shared the information on the groups shortly before the examination, their classmates alerted the teachers. And finally, the Namibian government has, since the inception phase of the $5.7 billion Namibian Nekatol Dam, planned to set up green schemes there, and the project is not a failure, only slightly hampered by a lack of finances. On Friday, Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Kali Schletwein, responded to reports that the government has no plans with the multi-billion-dollar dam on the Fish River in the south. Schletwein said plans are in place for the 5,000 hectares irrigation scheme to be fully implemented, contributing to food security. Your Trustco share price today is at $1.58 per share. Taking a brief look at the financial indicators, the Namibia dollar is trading against the US dollar at 15 Namibia dollars and 60 cents, and against the euro at 17 Namibia dollars and 60 cents, and against the British pound at 21 Namibia dollars. This is Informante Live, and these were our top stories. You can find more on our website, which is informante.web.na.
Informante News. Firm but fair.
Wow.
On your COVID numbers.
Okay, I don't know if you guys see
Those were
it.
like 4 coughs. No?
Yeah.
So we're down to 4.
I just made it. My throat was like itching, and I'm like concentrating.
I don't know if you guys saw Kofi was coughing. There he coughs again.
There's
And
like
what
7.
did you say, Maria?
Yeah, your COVID numbers.
Yes. I know. There's no COVID, according to my statistics.
Dankie.
So active cases 84 today. Remember, we were
84.
73 yesterday. So it's
Yo.
84. So it's just picked up a little bit.
Yeah,
But
it's all right.
daily new cases, none. That's what I don't understand about these statistics. Yesterday we were 73. Today we're active. But the same statistics say that daily new cases there's 0. And I don't understand it. It's what we've been on all the time. We are being BS here.
Bamboozled.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's because, I mean, we don't have a 24-hour period turnaround. As in, the results don't come in within 24 hours.
Right.
If you
Right.
get tested by the state, they sometimes can take a whole week, and then they'll be reported
Yes.
a week later
Yeah.
when you've recovered.
Yeah, once we are all healthy, then we can see the figures going up again and down again and totally
Yeah.
doing the opposite stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the coronavirus cases, 129,105 have been registered, 125,442 have recovered, 3,569 deaths, with 84 active and no daily new cases and no daily deaths.
I thank you.
Did you feel the weather this morning?
Kofi, ek het gisterand toe trek ek 'n lang slaapbroek aan
Yeah?
en 'n T-shirt en ek het literally I covered myself in a duvet.
Right.
It was
It was
a bit
cold.
nippy last
Yeah.
night, and even this morning, and then I remembered I left my jacket here when I left the studio.
Okay.
So I really forced myself not to bring another jacket from home.
Yes.
So
You kind of ran to the car and put the heater on.
dit sal seker 'n bietjie warm word vandag. Jy
Well,
moet maar
today-
vir ons laat weet.
No, the weather is changing according to the weather people. Today, the interior is going to be sunny and hot to very hot in the south, elsewhere partly cloudy and hot to very hot. Coast partly cloudy and cool to warm, with a wind moderate to fresh southerly to southwesterly. Maximum temperatures for today in Windhoek today 33 degrees, going up to the north of the country in Ondangwa 37, Oshakati 37. Going over to Katima Mulilu today 33, and then in Rundu at 37.
Rundu
37.
37.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no wonder I see Chekeretwe are still walking around here in Windhoek. Die man
Ondangwa,
wil hier toe gaan.
well, basically the whole Ovambo land, the whole Umuthia, Ondangwa, Opuvo, and Riobot, no, and Rundu are all at 37. Riobot is at 33 today. And then we go to Big Mitch's place. Keetmanshoop 31 Mitch. Yes, ons jou valley daai. Né?
31 degrees.
Place where men are men and sheep are nervous. No? Okay, and then to the east of the country, in Gobabis,
jy moet klaarmaak dat jy gaan,
36 degrees in Gobabis, and I've covered
Coffee's
the
just throwing
entire
puns.
country. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
And yeah, I just wanted to gauge you a little bit. Am I alright? Never want you out of the studio.
Yes, I know. He's got
Yeah.
very important people coming.
Nee. Jy maak net moeilikheid hierso. Kofi, thank you. Thank you very much. You have a splendid day. Kofi, can you just ask the commissioner just to, yeah, guys, we have, listen, to all you viewers and listeners out there, we have Police Commissioner Ismail Basson in
I
the
must ask
studio.
him a question. I think it was him who arrested us during that shut it down movement.
Nee,
Yeah.
shut it down movement.
Hulle het ons
Dis
toegemaak.
dis
Hulle
reg.
het ons
Ons
toegemaak.
is moeg.
I've got questions for him. Yeah.
Yeah, we are tired of this wokeness. Yeah, in Namibian society. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have Police Commissioner Ismail Basson who will be in studio. Guys, please ask your questions.
Just remember he's a police officer.
He's a police officer. Ask questions relating to our safety, how we can prepare ourselves, for the festive seasons. Obviously, in terms of crime statistics, we would be indulging him on a few topics here today. So please, let's make it an interactive discussion. And the usual suspects. Ons praat nie oor lewerseer maak goeders nie. So Commissioner Basson is stepping into the studio as we speak, and as I say, we will definitely be indulging him. Good morning,
Morning, Commissioner.
Commissioner Ismail Basson. Welcome to the Morning
Is that your oom?
Mix. Nee, ons sal die vraag vra.
Just wanna know.
From the beginning.
From the beginning.
Yeah.
We want to know if it's nepotism or not.
Yeah. Commissioner Basson, right from the Khomas region. And please, the question will come up, as rightfully as Maria was asking. The question will come up because people will see that your surname is Basson. You are well known in Namibian society, especially in the Khomas region. A lot of people have been asking me, it's a Basson, you and Commissioner, is julle ook 'n familie van mekaar? So please, Commissioner, can you please, on behalf of the Namibian nation, can you please
The
set
Basson family.
the record the record straight here? You have the floor.
Yes. Which one now first?
No. Let's address this family issue before we
issue.
talk about anything else.
I was asking myself that question all along, and up to date I don't have that answer.
Oh.
So it is a coincidence, probably, but definitely we are all persons. We need to go back very far for us to really confirm that. But I think there must be something, some other connections.
Uh-huh.
But
Family tree, yeah.
it's not somehow we cannot, all of us cannot really nail it where that connection exactly is.
Yeah. But with the little that we've discussed, it's very clear that there's a connection between us. We must just
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Basson, once again, welcome to our show. As we say, as Namibians on our show, it's a very interactive discussions that we do have here on a daily basis with figures from entertainment to business, economics, to politicians, and the role that you play in Namibian society is very, 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 very key. Maybe Commissioner Basson, maybe you can. I think you've been in the position now for more than a year now. I think
No, less than. I just started 1st of April.
5th of April this year.
Yes,
Okay.
this year, 2021. Yes.
Yeah. And how's the experience been in your respective position now?
My experience as a regional commander, it is as expected. Having grown in the police, starting from a constable rank to where I am today. So, and in fact, not just in the police, but in Windhoek for that matter.
Yeah.
I spent all my life minus 4 years out of Windhoek.
Aha.
But the rest, it was just in Windhoek. So there was not much that I don't know
Yeah.
about being a regional commander and having the experience of commerce. Yeah, I think I had it all summed up already as I grew. Yes.
Okay, I think I want to get in the thick of things. You know, festive season is just here. It's just knocking on our, here on our door. And we also know that this is roughly the time when sometimes we see a surge in some of these cases, like house breaking, theft, and so forth. I think for us, the residents of Windhoek, we just want clarity. How do we protect ourselves?
Yes. Approaching the festive season, remember, there's two types of, if I say criminals or crimes. There are those criminals that are also equally preparing to go on holiday, and they also need money or whatever to go and enjoy their holidays. And there are those ones that actually waiting for you and me to go on holiday so that they can ransack and empty our houses. Those are the two types that we are facing. As we speak, we are actually dealing with people that wants to go also on holiday, like any law-abiding citizen. So, and that's why you see cases, as you say, it look like there's a search on particular cases, and that is all about it's not just an assault. It's an assault having been trying to get something from you. So whether it's a cell phone, whether it's a laptop, but if you resist, they will obviously assault you. So for the festive season, as the commerce region, we are definitely going to launch very soon the festive season operation, where we are really going to go out there and make sure that we protect by all means as much as we can. But I will always call upon the citizens to also be very vigilant of what's around themselves. In terms of, if you happen to go on holiday, are you leaving your house with somebody, or you leave your house unattended? And what we always called upon, and something that is that I cannot say it is happening. We always tell people that if you happen to leave your house, going on holiday, all of us, let us report to the nearest police station. Earth number, street name. I will not be there from this day until this date. And obviously, the police will then have a focus to say, this house and that house is empty. We need to have regular patrols. So that is just how we call upon the public, but it's very rare that we get that response from the public in terms of reporting their absence from their houses.
I wasn't even aware that it could be done.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yes.
Like, I didn't know.
It's there. It's there. You just report to the police station. The nearest police station. And
That's nice, man. I
Yes.
didn't know about it.
Yes.
Commissioner, I hailed from Central Grootwinkels Kadatura. That's where I come from. I grew up there. That's what I know. Now, I stereotype coming from there. Now, if I stand in front of my mother's house, the last 50 years, the only crime that I see really there, Kadatura Grootwinkels, die mense gooi mekaar met bottles, of there can be a stabbing, of mense klap mekaar, of so. That's the type of crimes that I've seen there my whole life. But when it comes to serious violent crimes, I'm talking about break-ins, assault, murder, etc., etc. And I'm just saying, you know, it seems like there are certain hotspots in Windhoek, certain areas that seems to be the hotspots. I would speak to my sister, she stays in Rocky Crest, and my sister would tell me, my broer, Die inbrake hierso in Rocky Crest is erg. Ons kan nie slaap in die aand nie. You hear gunshots, etc. etc. That's just an example.
Yes.
Are there specific hotspots in Windhoek that we need to be aware of where crime and these type of things that we talk about is really, really high?
Yes, you are 100% correct. Hotspots are there, specific hotspots in at specific times. Hotspot is not something that lasts the whole day. And, you know, it happens normally an hour or two. When people are going on the way to work or to taxis, it's where they've been ambushed. And, as you said, housebreakings, Rocky Crest is one of them. I can confirm that. And you name it. And the hotspots are there, and we are really trying to come up with different approaches in terms of these hotspots, having identified the times and the days and places. So really, we are on top of that. Do we say on top? But we are aware of that, and we are trying to get to the bottom of that.
Do you find that in suburbs where they have the what we call the neighborhood watch, that somehow assists the police in carrying out the duty, or they just interfere with?
That is a very good positive, because that is neighborhood watch is you and my neighbor. Every house next to the other one that is looking after each other. But unfortunately, in our case, how do I put it now? In Karatura, that side, western suburbs, you find that neighbors don't even talk to each other. How would they even take care of each other?
Luister wat die commissioner sê.
Yes.
Die mense praat nie met mekaar nie. The neighbors.
With a beef.
And that really jeopardize even in investigations. When you come there, somebody will tell you, yes, I saw, but I thought people are moving out. I saw, but they will never say, we don't even talk to my neighbor. But most of the time, people did not see anything. People did not hear anything. Yes.
But most of the times, probably we see, but you know the person that's doing that, and you can't just go, because most of the public, I think, is afraid of retaliation. Because the pimpers.
No,
So what can we do in that case? You know this person, but you're afraid of retaliation.
It's never expected from you to get involved physically. For you is to, amongst others, if there was a car involved, a registration number, just any kind of description that you can get from that person. It's not to say you must get involved, you must try to arrest. We never advise that. We are saying, give us a lead. You know, everything that is happening, there's always somebody who knows. And the reason why some of them are not solved, it's because the one who knows is not speaking. He's not talking out. Not even giving a hint. In fact, if you give a hint, if you give whatever information, anonymous or whatever, you are bound to, you can be protected. You must be protected. Unless you yourself feel like, no, I'm fine. I'm not scared. You can call me to court. But otherwise than that, as a police officer, I must even be ready to go to jail. For protecting my source, my informer. Yes.
Neville, there's crime that always goes on during the festive season, and that crime really hurts me the most. It's these ATM guys. There are guys that swipe you at the ATM, and your whole hard-earned money that you have saved for December to take care of your family and what. Maybe if the commissioner can just give us a little tips on how to protect us more with these ATM thieves.
And that
they are big.
And those are
festive.
And those are one of those crimes that we really cannot get used to. And it's happening not necessarily festive season. It happens every payday, and that is just people that you find around yourself. You find somebody comes to you and they want to assist you. Somebody that you really you never know. And then we allow to be assisted. But those swapping of cards is in a way that you never even see. You cannot even remember that your card was swapped. But by the time you will just be told, sorry, this machine is not working. You take your card, it's another card, another person's card. You go home, your phone will tell us money is withdrawn. So it is something ongoing, and the people just need to be, particularly your surroundings. When you come to ATM, who's behind me? Because in fact, these people will be in a queue, or they will just be around the corner. They make sure that you are isolated, alone. They will not come to you while you are probably with others. They will always try people that is isolated, alone at the ATM.
All right.
It is a concern. It's one of those concerns that really keeps on coming.
So, Commissioner, I don't know if you know, our show is live streamed, so we have people watching and they're able to comment. And there's also some questions here for you. Stephanus Ananias says, I have an ask. Please, what happens to the drugs that have been confiscated?
He says confiscated in inverted commas. Kuma.
Yes.
Confiscate kuma.
Anything, not just drugs, anything that is confiscated, whether there's a case or no case. Once myself as a police officer take something from you as a public member, that something, whether you call it a drugs, a knife, firearm, must end up at the police station, being booked in. Yes, and including the drugs. Every drugs, every exhibit, we call it exhibit. What is exhibit? That is where there's a case involved. We call it lost and found. You pick up something, we call it item that you confiscate from somebody. Yes, but there's no. I can take a knife from you, but there's no case. But all those items must end up in police station. The question is, can you put your head on the block and say every item do end up in the police station? That is the question. And to be honest, it's true. Some of them honestly don't, because like any other society, if I may call it like that, police officers are also cleaner. They're also infiltrated by criminals and others. So there's always a possibility of some may not end up.
But is it? I think they're asking, like, does it eventually get destroyed?
Yes. When drugs or anything get, particularly drugs, if you talk about the address the particular question, when the case is finished, in other words, I'm found guilty or not guilty, that drugs will be destroyed. It will by burning, not just to be thrown somewhere. It will be burned to make sure it's destroyed, not just to be thrown somewhere. Somebody has come to dig it out. So it normally gets burned by fire or whatever.
And then there's another question here by Shalago. It says, what does the police have in place to help control the petty crimes that's currently happening? We are fearing for our lives.
You talk about the petty crime and then you talk about your life. So it's not the same thing. When you fear about your life, it's no more petty, it's now serious
It's a
business.
serious crime,
Yes, the police, it's always, the mandate of the police is there to protect life and property. So we must do that. And we are also in the same vein asking on the public to also assist in terms of how you can protect yourself, how you can assist the police in tracing or solving some of these complaints. But yes, that is the mandate of the police. If we don't do it, we just need to be reminded. Here you are doing wrong, you are not doing enough, and that is something that one can only build on. It's not something that you say, I did it. It's not something that ends. It's ongoing, you know. So I will solve your case, but the next person will still be asking questions. But how long is my case taking? So it is something that needs to be addressed as we go. It's ongoing. There's no definite answer to that. Yes.
Sorry, the viewers can't hear me, but there's a question that has been always people are asking whenever we have engagement on social media and other media platforms. During the COVID-19 patrols, there was a time where the officials were taking stock, especially those that were trading after hours, so maybe on Sundays. Alcohol. Those things were confiscated, but they never given back in some of the instances. And I had a chat with one of the police officials, and then I was not surprised, but I was actually more amazed to find out some things have gotten expired. Now, what does the police say now? Are you guys supposed to give those things back, or is it a punishment? You're not giving them back, and what happens to those things?
Let me just quickly that's his question. Let him have his time.
I'm saying you should come on the mic. Repeat it.
I just want to repeat what you're saying. So Shines is asking the commissioner, alcohol that was confiscated during lockdown.
My kan was
gevat. What happened to that specific stock? That's basically your question.
And you said some of it had expired. And
some of them has never returned. So, Commissioner can just give us an idea as to, because we obviously have our own stories there in Katutura, as to what happens to the stock that has been confiscated.
Yes. Again, we are talking about confiscation of items.
Yeah.
In other words, I said it, there's three categories. Either there's a case involved, or it was just found on the street, or it was, I'm saying, when it comes to alcohol per se, if the alcohol is confiscated, there must be a case. You either operated without a license, you operated beyond your trading hours, so they will be confiscated. They will be taken to the police station, and that forms part of the whole the docket. It is what we call the exhibit, because you were arrested. Most of them are probably even arrested, and they will probably not tell you that they are arrested, but that is part of the docket. It's an exhibit that tells the court, when I come at the Shibin A, I found Mr. Who operating, and as a result, I had to confiscate alcohol from that premises. So, yes, there comes the question of some of them even expired by the time probably the case is finished. They will be expired. All those ones will be destroyed. But if the case happens to finish before expiring of particular stock, it's all again in the hands of the court to decide what must be happen with the alcohol or the exhibit. The court may say, because you were guilty, because you were not having a license, that exhibit becomes a state, forfeited to the state. Or you are found not guilty, or you were found guilty, but the court can still conclude to say, return to the owner. And that will happen as per the court pronouncement.
Samuel Makale says, Commissioner, and that guns and ammunition which is missing, that is just a question. He's asking, somebody was also asking about drugs. Yeah, okay, yeah, he answered that.
Okay, after that question, I also have a question for the Commissioner, but please, I think if you can just answer on ammunition, which is difficult. You can't burn it, so to say.
Is it what is the question on the ammunition of firearms?
It's basically just probably what's happening, and then the guns and ammunition which is missing. I don't know what the issue is.
There is, in fact, it's on social media. Yeah. Plus 90 plus guns that get missing out of the hands of the police. Yes. So it's not a secret. It happens. But as I said at the beginning, the police are infiltrated by criminals, and the criminals are taking advantage of whatever they can, and that is a matter of under investigation. We need now to see when did it happen, how did it happen, who's involved. Yes, that there is a serious investigation on that one.
Yeah. Yes. Commissioner, and maybe on that note, is it fair to say that if you want to be a successful police officer out there, you need to understand street knowledge? You must have a certain level of street knowledge, experience. Jy moet verstaan wat is Trina. Jy moet ken what is the history of a specific area. You need to have that Trina DNA in you in order to fight this demon of crime that is out there. And yes, unfortunately, like you do say, the force is infiltrated. But in many cases, you would hear of die drakhuis word gaan geskit, maar die gatas weet, het klaar die ouens gesê, they are coming. You hear a lot of these stories.
Yes.
What's that relation between operating in a certain community to understand the nature of crime, and how do you guys on the force deal with such elements?
Yes, two parts. One is you need to grow into something to understand what is out there. You know, if you cannot become a commissioner from being a radio presenter, for example, and you become a commissioner, and the next day you want to fight crime. There's no connection between the two. Having grown in that position, and you understand the cleaner boy. Again, you need to understand the environment you are working in. the area, the place where you're working in, and then for that you will be able to identify. Mr. A is doing what, Mr. What is doing what. But again, as you said, the police is. You want to do something, but you hear the people will say, they were already told. You come there, there's nothing.
That's
The
next.
question is, who informed them?
Who informed
Who
them?
informed them? Were they tipped off by whom? Yes, definitely a tip off, but the question still remains: who is that one who gives the tip off? That remains a burning issue for the police internally, and we are looking at. It's not easy, but we are trying to identify some of those infiltrations of police officers, not honorable, or not honest police officers.
All right. I've got a question. So, Commissioner, I'm in media. In fact, my background is journalism. And I'm thinking now in terms of ensuring our protection. I think last year, towards the end of last year, there were shutting down protests that we were covering. And as we were covering these events, I realized the police apprehending 2 of my colleagues in the industry. I tried to step in to just alert the officers on duty that, look, the people you are taking to your van are journalists. And very, very quickly I was told, if you come closer, we will also
Stay out.
arrest you.
Yeah.
And I remember at the height of that feeling, like, how do we ensure that we're protected and that we're still able to carry out our duties? Because we have a duty as journalists, and we were there working, much like the police was working. But how do we ensure that, and unless, I think even in this case, there was not even opportunity to ask, where's your media card? It was just, you are a protester, come with us. So how do we mitigate that? Because we know the youth, their frustration. There might be other protests going forward. They mobilize themselves when they are not happy. They take to the streets when they are not happy about an issue. And as the media, our job is to continuously cover and inform the public. But how do we ensure that we don't get caught in the crossfire?
Yes, that's a very good question. And when that happened, I was not in Commerce. I was outside. I read it and I followed on all platforms. And yes, it was worrying from when you are up there and you need to make sure things are done correctly. And some of these things happens, you see there must be a problem somewhere.
Yeah.
And since I came to Windhoek Commerce, January, December for that, to be specific. But then it really somehow bothered me until to a point where I had now 2. Yesterday was the last one where I have an engagement. I don't know why you were not there, some of you. But I had that engagement with the media where they can tell me as the regional commander what do they experience in the hands from the public, from the police. What are they happy? Things are happening, and that is one of specific reference that I every time I get that engagement, I refer to that. But then the main question also comes up. Having, like if you talk about shut it all down, it was people dressed in a specific area, codes, and there was no specific dress code there. You come as you are. Yeah. But then, how was the media then dressed? Were you identifiable amongst that unruly, whatever you call it, that scaffold? Yeah. How identifiable were you? Yeah. And that to me, as I'm saying, I was not there. I did not see that how it happens. But for me, it is and it remains a question of identification. How openly, how identifiable you are from a distance, not necessarily with a media card in front of your chest. You want to tell me this is my card. It's not going to help. But as you said, by the time you try to come in, you were told if you get involved, that leads to interfering or hindering.
You also go to the van.
Yes. So to me, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm saying that everybody's having a shortcoming. Yeah. If you were clearly identified and still you get arrested, obviously we are guilty as charged. But it's something that needs to be addressed. That's why I had that indication we had a very, very, very fruitful discussion to say how can we make sure that the media is doing their work without fear of favor, without being disturbed. If media comes at the crime scene, they must also understand that there is rules that protocols that must be maintained. So you cannot just come there without introducing yourself and then you start taking pictures. Somebody is bound to ask you, who are you and who gave you permission? So we need to have that understanding, and that's why the engagement was there. And we are really having identified some of those things. We want to address them as they come. And we also encourage the media to really be mindful of where our right starts and ends, and everybody must know that the differences. But if it do happen, let us report it and let us deal with it as it is. We must deal with it. Yeah.
Franco Jose says.
Commissioner, when it comes
Please
to
take a mic. Just come take a mic, because then we have to repeat your question. Just
one question while we're doing the media issue.
yeah.
When it comes to the issue of
camera shades.
No, that's okay.
I'll speak to the commissioner. When it comes to the issue of, the police officials not wanting to be taking pictures or a video of while they are in operations, what would you say to this? Because you see, this is my understanding as a media practitioner. We're sort of like holding them accountable for what they are doing, which is providing their service to the public as per, their command, which I don't think there's anything wrong of us taking a video of them if they are doing what they're supposed to be doing. In fact, we are promoting their hard work. We are actually just out here reporting on the good work that they are doing to the community. But now we came to this point where I am taking a video, even if I ask permission for, let's say, from somebody else in amongst the team, and then I'm taking a video of this police officer apprehending somebody or a criminal, and then my phone gets grabbed away, and then now everything will be deleted. Like, what is the fear? That's my question. What is the fear with police officials with regard to them being, recorded when they are doing their duties, if what they are doing is not wrong?
Yes, that is a very good question, and that is always my question also to my colleagues. Why? What is the fear?
Yeah.
What are you doing that you are scared to be exposed, if I can put it like that? What are you doing it right or you're doing it wrong?
Yeah.
So for me, it is just I'm not doing the right thing, and I don't want to be exposed.
Yeah.
So my call is always on officers to say, let us try to be all means do the right thing.
Yeah.
Once you do the right thing, you will not have any fear of being exposed or being on social media. It will be for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Commissioner.
So in a nutshell, there is absolute nothing that stops anybody to take a video from the police or of a police what they are doing.
And what about identification? Is it also not, if a police approaches me, do I as a citizen, forget me as the media, do I as a citizen can I inquire, can you please identify yourself? We see it on movies where they say, give me your badge number, but forget the badge number. Does the police officer have to identify themselves?
On demand, yes. You know,
demand.
you can, as I'm sitting here, you find me anywhere else. The moment you get involved into whatever, your child is being arrested, you are arrested, you come for whatever, you have the right. Forget about the uniform. You can still see me in full uniform, but you can still demand for my appointment certificate. It's within your right.
Okay.
You can do that. If you are not, if you think that, remember, as I said, criminals are there. we have in the past where criminals are having uniform.
Yes.
So to make sure that you are dealing with the correct person. And probably I can be a criminal and I'm still having my appointment certificate. But then at least you will look at who are you? I'm Commissioner Basson. Can you identify yourself as such? So you will have to you could even, I must not just show you, I can give it to you to verify, because there's both sides. There is a name, the face, there is the rank. Probably one day I will tell you I'm Commissioner Basson, but ever since when I was promoted, I'm still having the appointment of Deputy Commissioner Basson.
Yeah.
Am I the same person? No. Those are the technicalities. And that is why we encourage our people to make sure that you are identifiable on demand. And if I cannot identify myself, you have the right to refuse me entry into your house or whatever I wanted to do because of failure to identify myself.
Okay.
Mitch, die mense sê hierso, jy's doodstil. Kom maar.
Ek wil iets gou vra.
Namas is bang vir die polisie. Dis wat hy so sê. So vrye vraag.
Hulle moet begin doen met my. Commissioner, we had a debate here in the studio. Like, where do we draw the line that police officers can use excessive force or deadly force, as we put it? Because we had a lot of cases where people or the public feels like it was not needed, and people actually died, and there were protests about it, and so where do we draw the line that a police officer can actually use excessive force?
You know, you call it excessive force.
Yeah.
In the police, we call it, in another shell, equal force. Or, you know, if equal force or the force to overcome the force that I'm facing. It depends on which side you are. If you happen to slap me, how will I overcome that slapping? Or how will I overcome the force that I'm facing? At the end of the day, you may call it excessive.
But if it's a slap and the police takes out the gun and shoots me, is that not excessive?
That is excessive, yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's
So
what we're talking about.
that's why I'm saying you need to, if you come with a knife, I'm with a pistol.
Yeah.
That is excessive, isn't it?
Yeah.
So police don't have the right. If it becomes excessive, there are police officers that are, as we speak, facing the criminal courts for having applied excessive force. So there's no right. There's a line. There's a clear line. As a police officer, you should know that here, this is excessive or it's going to be excessive. Unless it might be excessive only after the court pronounces itself, because it's a question of going to court and explain your actions.
Yeah.
It's not just that somebody like
Decides.
in the street you will be found guilty
Yeah.
because you did it. You are guilty. Until the court pronounces itself, you can still be found not guilty. Probably not on murder, but on any other couple homicide and others.
I don't know, Commissioner, if you've seen the video that came from South Africa, where this man, he was confronted by the police. He was standing naked in his bedroom with police officers surrounding him, and he grabbed the gun of one of the police officers. I think it was a female police officer, and he clocked the gun and said, "What are you going to do?" So he had the police officers
We're gonna steal
Gun.
pistol in his hand, and then the other police officer, point blank shot him, through the head. And I believe this guy is still in hospital at the moment. He's in a coma. How would you?
Firstly, did you see the video, Commissioner?
That's why I'm
I
asking.
did not see it, but I can follow.
Yeah.
I heard about it. I did not really see it.
Yeah. So
Why don't you use the case here in Namibia? That's an easier one.
which one?
The one that the guy was shot in the
three
leg
times.
3 times.
Oh yeah.
Well, don't use South Africa. Let's use the
He like
incident
slapped
here.
the police officer, he slapped it and he was just
No, he was
screaming.
insulting him and he threw a broom at him.
Yeah,
The
and
one-
This
plus
video
he
was
was
taken.
racist.
Yeah,
It was racist.
From the top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was taken from the top.
Looking at if you look at forget about probably the one for this one that in Namibia,
Yeah.
the one of South Africa, there is it's a matter of life and death. The fastest person, the survival of the fastest. Particularly when the person get hold of a gun. It's no more a question of if, it's a question of when. Because and if you don't do it, I will do it. And that is obviously life and property, where you need to really make a split-second decision to say, am I taking him out or is taking me out?
Okay, what he's failing to tell you is that the guy already had a gun before he grabbed the police. This whole time with the altercation, he had a gun.
He already had a gun
it. He
on
was
him.
not using it.
Yes,
He was not even pointing it.
exactly. And that is why, that is one of the things, probably, as I said, I did not see the video. Probably the police officer did not also see that previous video. Gun. Did they saw the other
saw
gun?
Yeah, he
the-
did.
No,
he
he-
was
they saw
yielding
the-
it. He was
they saw the
yielding
gun.
it. But
The
he
guy is
said-
drunk.
Yes.
Okay, he's drunk, and you can
He's
see.
holding a gun and he's grabbing another one.
Yeah.
But not
Yes.
to use it. That's why I'm saying you're
Look,
misrepresenting.
But
Mary, I will
my
be
question
honest,
is,
Because
the question I
remember,
ask is,
you also said when he grabbed the police gun, he cocked it. that cocking.
So what are you going to do?
What happened from there?
But it didn't.
Nothing. He didn't even point it at
didn't
them.
even point
He
it
held
at
it
them.
like this and
After
like,
cooking.
shoot me. What
Yeah,
are you
he
going to
After
do?
cooking it.
Yeah.
And you see, the thing is, we will always have a difference of opinion here. I personally feel, okay, and you don't have to agree with me, police commissioner. For anybody, a civilian who's drunk, who's aggressive, who grabs a gun or has a gun, refuses to put the gun down, you asking for trouble.
Definitely.
Yeah, you're asking for trouble.
that is
In
for
my
sure.
personal view, there's no way
You're
that
asking for trouble.
you
Agree with you, never.
Uh-uh.
Look, by law,
Man.
by
I'm
law.
agreeing with you. Why are you saying
No,
I agree with
I'm not saying against him. I'm talking. I'm
oh.
about
You're talking to
the
yourself.
situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole thing is the moment you grab a gun of a police officer,
Hello.
the police officer actually can shoot you. That's just it, and he won't even be found guilty. I've seen that in America. Even like this guy just goes as if he's gonna grab the gun,
Okay, that's nigga.
and it's done, and it's done.
Yes.
Right.
You know,
But-
those are the
But
split
in
second
yeah,
decisions.
yeah, but in that video, this police officer actually had to make sure to shoot him in the head.
Yeah,
Like,
that was-
that was like.
Guys,
he-
can I get
You
your
know,
question?
you know,
Yeah. I wanna get some
you know.
questions.
It's again, it's a question of
Just hold on.
if I shoot you in the leg, you can still shoot me.
Exactly.
You can still kill all of us. in the
Exactly.
leg. So I have to eliminate you.
Yeah.
I have to take you totally out, unless I shoot you probably in the hand that is holding the gun. Something like that.
Yeah.
For the gun to be for you to be separated from the gun. But I'm saying those are split-second decisions that you have to make.
Yeah.
There are some important questions here. Like we're talking about if people not identifying themselves. So somebody's asking, who do we report these incidences to? This reluctance by police, and can you, as commissioner, guarantee that our concerns will be met? In many incidences, police officers resort to violence, like the infamous clap. Then you ask them to identify or record them, then it's a problem. And so I think it's asking if you feel the police officer has sidestepped, such as has smacked you or has done something to you, or even is refusing to show you
badge.
the certificate that you're talking about. I think the reluctance from some says, if I go to the police officer, I'm just going to report to his colleagues, who might or might not do anything. So I think the question is, how can civilians then ensure that, they also protect themselves and that they report this to the relevant authorities?
Yes. The relevant authorities is to report it to the police station where it happens in that particular area. And that is the biggest fear is always, how do I report the police to a police? And that is the biggest fear. But that should not be a fear. In fact, what we are saying is anything that happens to you, you report it to the police station. And amongst others, it's so good that we need to start knowing our, for example, in this case, station commanders. If you come at the police station for whatever reason and you feel not treated the way you expected to be treated, not correctly, you need to report that one to the station commander. Not having that, my number is always available.
Can I pull out my phone in that instance? If I'm in the police station, and let's say I came to report something to the police, and I feel like they're either not responding to me, or how they're responding to me is not appropriate, or I'm not getting, can I, and I'm asking this because, sorry to bring it to America, Americans have now learned to pull out their phones, right? Do I have a right while I'm in the police station and say, I'm going to record you now, because I need to capture this, how you're talking to me, how you're treating me, or how you're handling my case, or is that stepping?
In fact, if you start pulling out your recording, I may change my approach. I may not be as aggressive as I was before. So most of those videos that are being taken, even if you talk about America, I don't know about that video. You are confronting me. If the moment you take out that camera, I will be already changing my approach. So most of those videos are taken by somebody. Maybe if you are two, just somebody on the background. Be ready to take whatever is happening here. So yes, we just need to report these incidents as they happen.
Yeah.
If there is a charge office and then there is a station commander. From the station commander, there is now what we call the regional commander that you can approach. And you must come to me as a regional commander to approach me and tell me, That is what I went through. I report to the station commander, and he failed to attend to my complaint. As I'm speaking, I'm still not happy. I'm still not assisted. That is where I will come in to say, direct the station commander, make sure this person is attended to.
Let me just read a few comments, and Commissioner, you don't have to answer. I just need to read comments so that you just hear what the people's opinion is out there. Franco Jose says civilians can report to the ombudsman. Ramsti Mazila says it's not true. The police are trained to handle such situations, but in most cases they panic also. They are not Robocop. Tangeni with a capital says, but guys, let's distinguish between police and judicial systems. As a belief, the commissioner will not have all the answers. It depends on the situation on hand. Valellam Mboli says, Mitch, the moment you cough, the commissioner put on his mask. Franco Jose says, but oh well, survival of the fastest in terms of who is going to pull. Huh?
Survival of the fittest.
Fastest. That is what the.
He said fittest.
You're not. Just read what the person is saying. What Franco Jose says.
So Franco says survival
of the fittest. Oh, but oh well, survival of the fastest.
Yes, no, I was saying the fittest.
In terms of who is going to pull the trigger first. But in that case, shooting someone in the head is definitely intending to kill. Boyki, yeah, we all have our opinions.
Intending to kill, yes.
Yes.
That's again what they said.
Yeah.
You either you kill me or I kill you. In that situation, it's split second again.
Boyki says the Namibian police is a joke. Any citizen try to inquire something from them, then it's obstruction. Commissioner, please educate the officers on that. Roviera says there are too many sensitive officers. On the force, I will not mention the Katiti name. The drunk guy swears his mother and Liu. He is emotional. Why do words hurt officers so much on duty? Do they not have self-control? Janice says it is also excessive force if an officer slaps a civilian when said civilian requests the officer's name. Yeah, so that's basically
what the commissioner made
just
maybe just on the what was that? The last one where people, police officers are so sensitive. Yes. And you know these things are, and I take note of those comments, and I appreciate those comments, and those are things that I really, for myself, as individually, I identify and I address them as they are. I used to ask myself, and maybe you can say jokingly, I used to tell them, if you go to court, your mother has been sworn, your mother what? You go to court, the court will ask you, who was sworn it? Is it you or is it your mother?
You swear my mother.
You said that my mother, as a result, I beat you. But by law, they may be asked, who is the victim here? Is it you or your mother? So how do you take then
law into your own hands?
In your own hands. So those are probably jokingly, but those are the realities. Correctly put, so we are very sensitive. And as again, somebody will tell you, when are you going to get used to be abused and to be sworn at and to be thrown off all kinds of words and going, people are limping because, you must at some point develop thick skin. Some of those things will just say, it's one of those days. But I'm not going to be bothered by what you are saying or how you said it. So it's a question of, you need to build up.
Yeah.
Tangeni with a capital T says, please record with care, Maria. Okay?
Yes.
Listen to this statement. And I think you have experienced this a lot during lockdowns. Some of us are at the police station after having been caught with our cambrotos, our side chicks, after we broke curfew. How many times have we?
I wanted, that's what I think I ultimately wanted to understand. So you have a show on NBC, I think it is, called On the Streets.
On the Streets,
right?
Yes.
Where cameras basically go along
rolling,
with the
yes.
police
Yeah.
while the police is carrying out their duties. You know, civilians, arrests are on camera and everything. It's not a problem, right? But the minute you take out your phone to also record some of this, then it's a problem. It's almost difficult to distinguish when it's correct, when it isn't, when it's impeding, when it...
It's always, it's difficult because it's not difficult, but it's difficult. If I can put it like
I
that.
like that.
Because as I said it again, there's nothing that stops anybody to take a video of Commissioner Basson. The question is, what am I doing? Am I doing it correct or not?
Yeah.
If I overstep the line, obviously I don't want to be exposed. But if I'm in this case, nothing wrong with me. I'm, as you said, all over the place. Why am I not having a problem with that? So it's a question of what am I doing? Let us just do the right thing, and then you don't have to fear anything.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, I wanted to ask Commissioner.
One question before we wrap up.
Yeah. Okay. I think for the most part is you know, I think largely as well we've villainized the police. I mean, the police, in all fairness, is there to help civilians, to help us. They should be our first line of protection when we are in need, when we are in distress, and so forth. But for whatever reason, sometimes there's a certain fear for the police, and I'm talking about obviously abiding citizens. Commissioner, how do you go about changing that? And it can just be perhaps for this region, but how do you go about changing that perception in the minds of, and I'm just talking about sometimes a small child who is 5, 6 is scared of the police, and you wonder why is a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old, even a 10-year-old afraid of the police? They're not doing anything, but that fear has been instilled in their heads that they should be afraid of the police. So how do you go about turning that image around for the police to give it more of a positive spin on civilians to understand that you are not there to harm?
Very interesting, talking about the small child. If I go to shop right now and I find you of your 2, 3 years old child crying for the car, whatever, something is identified, I want this one, and you start crying, and you see the police, you will always say, the police will catch you. You stop crying, the police. That is something that builds up. Every time we see police or blue uniform, that is something to be feared about. You know, it is because a small child is not every small child. It is education. These are really about education. If you talk about a small child, and that is something I always try. Every time I experience that, I always talk to the parent to say, "You are doing wrong." Tomorrow, when that child is having a problem, where will he or she run to?
Yeah.
Instead of running to the police, he will run away from the police. So we need to make sure that the kids are educated to say, that is when you see a police officer, don't scare the child with the police. Educate the child and say, you see that one.
That is
if
your
you have a problem, you must run to them. If you see something like that, dress like that. So that is one part. The other part is when it comes to the adults, that fear of the police. And the fear, we cannot blame the public out there. It is us that really lost, if I can put it like that, that
Respect.
We make it we make it to vanish ourselves. In terms of, amongst others, our conduct towards the public. Somebody wants, you come at the house, you're just the mother or the brother, just want to know, officer, why are you arresting my brother? Why are you arresting my child? You get slapped, you get whatever, but you don't get the answer to say as to, just to be explained to as to why is it happening, what is happening. It's just that fear, and that is why we have the concept of community policing, where we have our community affairs people that goes out to the public and educate them and say, that is like what is happening, but that is from outside. The problem is not from outside, the problem is from within us. How we conduct ourselves towards the public, how we do our things. That is where obviously people will start, the confidence will come back to say, yes, that is what I asked from the police officer. I was given what I asked for, and I'm happy. Even if my child is arrested, but at least I know why, I know for what, I know everything. But if I don't know, we tend to create problems amongst the police and the public. Again, it's within us. We must work hard to restore that
That
trust,
confidence.
confidence and trust from the public.
Sorry, I thought you were done. Okay, the question that I wanted to ask you, let me park it for now. What you just say sparked another question that I just want to find out. In most cases, I would most likely say 90% of all police officials view every citizen as a criminal. And whenever they approach them, they don't most of the time even dare to serve first, as opposed to they are likely just go to straight to enforcing the law, even where it's not necessary, where they have to just correct the person and serve. Don't you maybe at a college at some point differentiate between or inform the officials so they can know the difference between enforcing the law and serving the law? Because in most cases, these guys, even if you just go by the roadblock, the first thing they like, just their tone is not appealing. Your license, please. If the police comes, sometimes
if the police comes.
yeah, sometimes give your license. Because for me, I feel like these are their service providers.
Okay.
That's just question one. You can answer, then I'll
time,
answer question.
time.
Okay, maybe you can skip this one. The second question is very
Mark,
important.
sharp as a belief.
This is a COVID update.
Guys, it's only 35 past.
And you know what? How
the
many
show goes
comments
until
I still
10.
need to read?
Yes,
Yeah.
this is also part of the show now.
No,
Just
it's
one
right.
comment. Okay,
Mark, nee.
Commissioner, I feel like you were never, not you, but I mean in your department or the whole police at large, I feel like they were never given a chance to actually explain the video that was circulating lately about the traffic laws when it comes to speed camera or operating speed cameras. Maybe would you perhaps take us through that process? What is the police officer ought to do when operating a speed camera on the road? What do I expect from him in terms of identification or everything that is actually within the law with regards to traffic laws? Because the video that was circulating, and a lot of people, maybe they were misinformed, and maybe some of them, or maybe the police officer didn't really do the job. There was a little bit of chaos happening there, and some people didn't really understand what is really the police officer has to do when it comes to that
Is
point.
it the video where somebody was issued a traffic ticket?
Yeah, and then he was asking for
asking
calibration and
Yes.
many other things.
yes,
Just one step.
There is identification certificates, and there are certificates per se that you go for a course and you get a certificate for having went through that process of a traffic officer or investigator. And we really don't travel with our certificates of attendance, certificates of what are achieving what. We only have the appointment certificate that we traveled with. Those are documents probably that when you go to court, the court may ask yourself, are you a certified traffic officer, investigator, or whatever? And that's when you will hand in those documents per se, but not necessarily to drive of your certificate of attendance, certificate of traffic, or whatever certificate. But the basic identification that we traveled with is appointment certificate. I'm a traffic officer. I am Commissioner Basson. This is my appointment certificate. You can have it. You can acquaint yourself with it, and that is the rest will be explained in court. If you feel like that this was unfair, I'm not going to pay this ticket, I'm ready to go to court. That is when you're going to ask all those, are you a trained officer? Can you prove yourself as a trained officer? But not for me to go with my briefcase, all the kinds of certificates that I'm having to prove every course I attended, every certification I was, yeah.
Sorry, on that same one, before you get to answer the second question, Commissioner, is it not when a traffic officer sets up at a certain point, their patrol where they're going to put up the roadblock, a speed camera or whatever, do they not have to get a jurisdiction or authority from the court saying 30 kilometers outside Windhoek, I'm going to set up here?
No, not from court. That is obvious. If you work in commerce, you cannot go into Okanja because Okanja is Ochisan Juba now. You are already bordered. And now when it comes to traffic and commerce, every police station kind of have a traffic. and every police station is having a jurisdiction. Maneta and Karatura, there is a border between these two. Maneta, Karatura, and Windhoek, there is a border. So as a traffic officer, you can basically only operate in that setup of that jurisdiction. Yes.
So you don't need a letter from the court?
No, not from court. The court cannot tell the police how and what to do.
Okay.
The court will actually, if those are the questions that will come in court. What is your jurisdiction? Were you in your jurisdiction? Where did you did this one? That is for the court process. And then you can be found guilty or not guilty, having done the correct thing or not done the correct thing because of having overstepped your limits, having not be able to produce what was expected from you, etc.
All right,
Yeah.
sorry. You had a second question that you
yeah.
was answering.
I wanted to ask, but are we going?
Can I get my answer before you?
Yeah,
Which
that's what
one
I'm
was
saying.
that
It's for
again?
the
It's
second.
about the fear that police officers always, or how do I say, when police officers actually see everybody is a criminal.
As criminals. Again, it's a question of conduct of the police officers, being sensitive on reaction. So it's again of that education that we need to have to within the police to say, please, if the police come in, who said it somewhere here, we must be approachable by the public. We must be able to explain our actions. We must listen to the public. It's an internal education. Having spoken about the loss in trust, confidence in the police, it is us that must work on ourselves to say, when we approach whatever scene, we must approach every individual must be respected for who and what he is. Not because I'm wearing a tie, I must be respected more than somebody who don't have shoes on his feet. A human being must be respected. If he or she needs answers, answers must be given. And what I cannot give, I can probably refer to the next person. Yeah. It's again a question of conduct that needs to be addressed within, in terms of restoring trust and confidence in the police.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to that, and then I'll ask my question, Neville. Neville, I think most of the times we forget that these police officers, even though they are there to serve us and protect us, these are human beings. These are fellow human beings that only have that uniform on, and also pledge to serve the country or the people or the community. But if you go on YouTube and you go watch this First Amendment audits, where these guys go out and just start recording police officers and be like, hey, you work for me, okay? If you're going to be disrespectful, even a person in a uniform that is put to serve you, they will start changing towards how they will approach you. So most of the times, citizens always also go out there and overdo it, not knowing that this person has human emotions and who try to react to you in the way, like he also said, equal force. So when they start seeing you, they will try to match your energy.
Force, yes.
Yeah, they will try to match your energy. So I just wanted to add that, like, I understand it's our right to do that. I understand it's our right to do whatever you want. But if you're going to put a finger up to a police officer in his face and try to record him in his face, you'll obviously expect some kind of retaliation or reaction from him. But this was my question. I was just adding.
Maybe on that one, very interesting. I'm asking, I'm always saying, if you, any one of you, you know that is commissioner person, whether it's in uniform or not, and you see 4 men, commissioner person included, passing your street, probably we are all drunk, holding beers and we're making noise. The description that you will get from a public member out there, they will tell you, I saw 3 men and 1 police officer pass here, very drunk in the street. You know?
Yeah.
You will not say 4 men.
4 men,
You
yeah.
will say 3 men and 1 police officer.
Yeah.
You know, that tells you that probably you can call it whatever you want, either respect or police officers are not human beings, they are just police officers. The public expects so much from us to say that wherever you are, on or off duty, you must be respectful. You must be beyond reproach. You must be displaying that respect that you expect from others. So, in a nutshell, we are not human beings, we are police officers.
So my question was basically this, like, I grew up in an environment where I, as myself as a man, was taught, like, police officers do not care about cases men make. They always like, my brothers, my cousins, uncles, the guys there will be like, yeah, if you go out there and you go make a case against who or what, and you are men, police officers do not care. Your case will take long. They will even later just throw out your case. Then they will just talk to another police officer, toward the docket. Then later, there's no case that was made. But it happens because you are a man. That's how I was brought up. Like, even if my girlfriend abuses me or beats me up, if I go make a case, they go like, I must say, go and go sort it out with your girlfriend. How do you make a case against your girlfriend? So what?
Worst of all, they can even laugh at you.
Yeah, they'll even laugh at you.
We are talking about the issue of gender based, and we tend to take it can only happen against women. That's why when a man comes to the police to report, some of us will even laugh at you. What kind of man are you? Which is absolutely wrong. The case must be dealt with on its own merit. Whether you come to report your wife beat you up, that is a case that you feel like must be investigated. Equally so, when a woman comes, report having been assaulted by the man. There should be no preference to say, because it's a woman, police must act. Because it's a man, it must be delayed, or even to be written off. No. If that happens, then the police, whoever is the investigator, whoever attends to that, to you at that point in time, that person must be reported.
Yeah.
For that thing to be corrected. It is not wrong for us to choose what we are going to work on and what not. Particularly having somebody that comes to complain about something.
Some comments before we wrap up the show. I scrolled up a little bit more. Kinin Glovo says, and this is now our South African correspondent. He always gives us information of what happens in South African life as he's watching the show from over there. Police are also sitting ducks to criminals. They do get profiled as well. Take, for instance, an entire police station being locked up in a van and robbed of ammunition and guns. This happened in Malamulele in the Limpopo. Policing is a thankless job, if you ask me. Understanding each other's roles is important so long the force remains professional and very much apolitical. Des van Beek says police needs more training. Some need to be basically spell your whole statement. Others are plain not helpful, especially with family issues. I'm just scrolling through because there are a lot of comments. Raymond Basson says, in Rehoboth, police officers must have a very thick skin. Die bastards kan die polisie deur mekaar vloek. Hulle speel nie daarso nie. Des van Wyk do talk about why do police most of the time hardly have a vehicle or wait for GBV to be a serious nature before they act. I know for many, many years there's always been an accusation against the police that in terms of your response, there's not a car available, etc., etc. Roviera say, good point, Commissioner. Parents do scare the children, do scare a child with the police, but us, we were scared of the patrol because they would smack us just for being in the street during the day. Maximus do ask, what is the way forward in terms of the transport issue? Some of the
Transport.
Yeah, the transport issue. Estomish says, on a positive note, I had good experience with the Namibian police, especially in the Erongo area. Unfortunately, I was almost scammed out of $28,000 not so long ago. I called from far. I was assisted well since the money was in Namibia. She's watching our show from Norway. I got great advice and eventually got my money back with more help from others too. Super thank you. I think maybe the last question here is this issue of transport.
Yes. It should never be an issue. We're always saying, and in most cases, the driver is not even aware of that complaint. It's just somebody at the counter that says there's no car. But there's always a car. And we're always saying, if for argument's sake, somebody comes to Karutra police station and there's no transport, another police station is having transport. Only policing is having trust. But it's a question of coordinating our efforts. If any difficulties for that matter, we need to communicate to the next station. But the public member must never come to the police station and to be told there's no transport. That is not what I come to hear. I come to be attended to for my complaint.
Yeah.
Not what my difficulties must be amongst us to say, colleague, there's no car. Commander, what can you talk to the other station to assist us with car? They have nothing to do with the complainant. So it's not an excuse. If that is an excuse, that person must be reported. He or she must be reported for
That specific officer.
That specific officer.
Uh-huh.
At times, as we say, not all of us are having our name tags. But the best thing for you to identify a police officer is, if he's behind the counter in the charge office, is the time and the day. On a Tuesday, I was there around 10 o'clock. Then I know that people that start from 6 o'clock, they're working out until 2. If need be, all of them can be brought together for you to identify who was that one that you've spoken to. What we are saying is, public out there must be served. We are the servants of the people. We are not their bosses. And if you being supposed to be served and you're not happy with the way you are served, that must be reported. And station commanders, shift commanders, all the commanders must address that concern. Until if you as a public member can come up to the office of the regional commander, you can go beyond to the Inspector General. But then again, it's about respecting each other. We must report complaints so that complaints can be addressed, problems can be addressed, difficulties can be addressed.
Final comments?
If it's not reported, obviously you will suffer in silence.
Yeah. Final comments, guys, from your side? Anything, Tuva?
No
Mitch?
comments. I just wanted to thank the Commissioner for his time speaking to the public. I know policing is a huge element of our society, so thank you for making time, Commissioner.
I would also just say thank you to the Commissioner also. He answered very important questions for me. So,
Commissioner, I think before I say my last thank you, ek het net een laaste vraag om te vra. Waar is Royes?
Waar is Royes?
Waar is Royes?
This Royes.
Royes Mostert.
Royes Mostert.
Royes Mostert.
Everybody.
we are calling on the public to tell us really where's Royes.
Yeah.
And again, how he disappeared is a question is being investigated.
Yeah.
And to be honest with the public out there, a police officer is arrested because of his disappearance. So it is one of those questions to say, was he assisted?
Yeah.
And the way he disappeared also without trace.
Yeah.
Ever since he disappeared, we don't have a clue where he is.
Hi,
So
Boris.
how far was he assisted? Was he assisted by the police? But what I can say today is that there is a police officer being investigated for the disappearance of Royes. And as we speak, we don't have a clue as to his whereabouts.
Dan gaan die vra hier, Commissioner, waar is jou sambok?
Waar is my sambok? Where is my sambok? Yes.
And is daar nie 'n reward uit nie? Is there any reward out for Royes if the public may probably just give tips on anonymous tips?
Not yet, but I'm sure the hierarchy is working on that to make sure there is something that can entice the public to report. And probably forget about the reward. Can we just make sure criminals are kept behind bars or returned to where they belong? And that is behind bars.
True.
If there's a reward, it must be bonus.
Yeah. Commissioner, thank you. Thank you so much for coming in today. Guys, I must say, you know what, for the longest time, you know, Commissioner has been so busy. And I think, you know what, doing what you are doing to safeguard all Namibians here in the Thomas region is of utmost importance. So we are extremely thankful that you could find the time today to come and speak to the Namibian nation out there. I think we have so many comments and everybody says thank you here. Sebi Uyana says thank you, Commissioner. Everybody is in full appreciation for for you availing your time to be here in studio. Definitely the words, the advice that you gave us here today, we will surely be taking that advice and obviously try and make sure that we safeguard ourselves. Maybe, Commissioner, if there are any final words that you have that you would like to share with us as we say goodbye to everybody out there.
Yes, somebody said it that the police, what they are doing is it's not something that you get praised every day.
It's a thankless job.
It's a thankless job, the correct word. But to be honest, we are not there to be thanked. We are there to do what is expected from us. There is guidelines, what you must do and what you're going to do. And our job should not be measured against anything, but what we are supposed to do. If whether we are praised or whether we are praised, or whether we are, what is the other word? If you are not praised, whether you are insulted, whatever you do, you still have a duty.
Whether you're degraded.
Yes. So it's not coming at any price. It is our mandate to serve and to protect, investigate alleged crimes, etc. So, thankful or not thankful, our job is there to make sure that the public out there feels safe. And not just feeling safe, they must be safe. And that is, in closing, is to say, please let us, as the public out there, let us also try to assist, report crimes as they happen. Many cases are not solved because of the absence of information. Leads, anything that you think or know about, report. The police will take it from there. And many cases, again, it is somebody, it's called cold cases. Many cases are not solved because of that. Because people think that police will come and dig out something that was, but most of them is because of leads that you pick up at the scenes, because information is shared by the public, etc. So let us enjoy the festive season. Let us make sure we come back in pieces. Let us not drink and drive for us to arrive alive.
Asseblief,
we didn't touch on it, but it's important.
The thank yous are still coming through, but thank you so much, Commissioner, and you also, you and your loved ones, your family, safeguard yourself. Have a Merry Christmas, and definitely we hope to see you in studio again somewhere next year, where you can come and report very, very favorable statistics in terms of how Namibians were safeguarded. Blessed day.
Anytime.
Have a blessed day, Commissioner.
Yes,
Angela, thank you for your comments. You guys have been participating so well today. You are well behaved today.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's check more. Sharp.
Senibona ngaba bantu benihlasela